You and the long-range team came together and we're ready to make this special announcement pertaining to the rest of the hurricane season.
Yeah, we certainly are. And we've been saying it since the very beginning of the hurricane season, even way back before when we made our initial forecast out in March, that we thought the end of the hurricane season could get quite active. And we still think that right now. So we think that we could see a late season surge here as we move into the month of November. We're still expecting another 1 to 3 named storms during the month of November. And we may even see something into December as well.
And you know what? We'll always like to take it a step farther. Okay, 1 to 3 named storms, but then the next part of the equation is who has to worry about them, Alex?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the $1 million question. Are these going to affect me? Because if it's 1 to 3 out in the middle of the Atlantic, nobody really cares. But we are concerned that areas, the entire state of Florida, even up into the Carolinas, could be at risk of seeing another tropical impact this season. And of course, those areas are already very, very vulnerable from multiple hits this season. Good news is the western and central Gulf of Mexico areas, we don't think that those areas will be seeing any direct impacts for the rest of the season.
All right, let's just tie this up here with some talking points, Alex, as we go forward.
As we go forward here, again, we are concerned about impacts throughout the month of November. We may even see a storm into December as well. Doesn't happen very often, but again, those really warm sea surface temperatures are kind of driving this as well. So we're thinking Florida up into the Carolinas are at risk here over the next month or so, and we're calling for 1 to 3 additional named storms throughout the rest of the hurricane season.
And we feel pretty strongly that 1 to 3 named storm is coming within the next week, Alex.
Yeah, it certainly could. We pushed the date back just a little bit. We're thinking the beginning of November. High risk of development. We've been talking about this for days and days and days. Concerned about this area in the central Caribbean here. Very warm water temperatures, very low wind shear. We're expecting development in this area.
And the reason we've been on this since last week is we saw this. The weather pattern, big area of high pressure building across the Northeast that sets a front southward, and then it starts a chain reaction that begins with showers and thunderstorms. And Alex, right on cue, there they are in the southern Caribbean.
Yeah, I still think we have a couple days before these will organize, but like you mentioned, we're starting to already get the early signs of development. Some showers and some thunderstorms developing there in the southern Caribbean, and then as that high builds to the north, it's going to create a very favorable environment, I think, for tropical intensification here. Wouldn't shock me if we're dealing with a hurricane potentially at one point early next month, early in November here, because again, look at this environment, very, very little wind shear, and the water temperatures in that area are exceptionally warm.
All right, we've been working on this graphic all morning. You and Alex Duff came in to me and said, Bernie, I think we have a problem. Of course, I don't like anybody changing my graphics. However, you did convince me. Let's talk about the first scenario, more of a northern track, Alex.
Yeah, well, this is more favored toward climatology. This time of the year, we expect storms that develop in this region to either move north or northeast. So climatology would tell us that this storm probably moves across Hispaniola and Cuba, goes out to sea. But we do have to watch for an impact to potentially Florida here. We're going to have that big area of high pressure that we talked about. So that might block whatever develops from heading out to sea and could actually force the storm kind of to move west into Florida. So that's kind of the concern there with that more northern track. But even that western track, if the high is stronger initially in early November, it might just have the storm move straight west into the Yucatan. But then if there's a weakness, it could allow the storm to turn to the north. So we're still, 7 to 10 days out from this. So a lot of different moving pieces here, and it's all going to be determined on how strong that high to the north ends up being.